Hey there. We've just had some major changes in the sky, and it's a real good time to get an astrology reading, maybe to recalibrate. For instance, Jupiter just turned retrograde. Now, Jupiter is the planet of our ideals and principles and our sense of meaning and purpose. And whenever Jupiter turns retrograde, it's a time to really reflect upon those things that give us hope and inspiration. However, Jupiter is in your natal chart, it shows this, but Jupiter is now in Taurus, which has been compelling us to be more practical in our, spiritual practices, or in our, deep rituals and things like that since the middle of 2012. So with Jupiter turning retrograde in Taurus, it's really making us reflect upon how much we're really putting into practice in a tangible way those things that we believe in, because we all have a lot of beliefs about things. That's what Jupiter is about. It's the hope and the purpose that comes from our great teachings. Like if someone is into yoga, or they believe in that philosophy of yoga and whatnot, then it's great to believe in all that and to believe that we're all one and we're spiritual beings. But how much are we putting that into practice? It's not just a belief, or else that's just dogma. If things just stay in the realm of belief, then they're just dogma. They don't become spiritual. It really doesn't become spiritual until we put it into practice. So spirituality is about practices, and all the planets and everything in astrology is spiritual because they all refer to certain kinds of practices, for instance. So a good thing to really be looking at right now is what's the difference between your spiritual beliefs, like what you believe, oh, I believe this, I believe in this, and what do you practice? How much do you put into practice? Because spirituality as a belief is really just religion. You hear people a lot these days say, well, I'm spiritual but not religious, which actually just means that they don't believe in a certain kind of religion, like they're not a Christian or something. So they say they're spiritual but not religious, but actually that's religious. Whatever you believe in is the religious part of spirituality. That's related to Jupiter, your beliefs based on what you've been taught and those things that give you hope. But spirituality is related to all the planets. Every planet has a quality of spirituality, because spirituality is practices. What are you practicing? So Jupiter in Taurus, since the middle of 2012, has been compelling us to not just have these beliefs about things, but to put them into practice in our daily routines, especially things that have to do with, like, let's say, diet and lifestyle, and how we handle our senses, how we handle our family, and those deeply entrenched values that are a part of our life. Because this is what Taurus is about. It's about those things that give us comfort, that are part of our immediate environment, and our long-held, entrenched values and beliefs. Many times it has to do with maybe separating from the religion or the beliefs of our family, of our past, and of our deeply entrenched habits as they stand right now. So again, this is just the Jupiter in Taurus cycle or transit, which started in the middle of 2012. Now that Jupiter is retrograde, we're reflecting on these things and saying, how much am I doing that? How much am I attached and stuck in my ideas about what I believe in, and how much am I actually putting into practice? So this is a big thing. We also just had Mars and Venus change signs. So Venus is now in Leo, which brings much more of a sort of demanding nature to our relationships. We're really kind of prone to, demanding praise, demanding that we be appreciated for who we are. Like, I want to be appreciated for my power, or else I'll find someone who will, kind of thing. Mars is also in Scorpio, which is saying I want to dig deeply into my emotional shortcomings and my emotional weaknesses and things like that, and really, penetrate into the depth of those things and have the courage to do that. So these are, three big things that have changed. And of course, we have Saturn in Libra right now. If you practice the Western astrological tradition at all, or follow it, there's this Pluto-Uranus squares are going on, which I don't necessarily practice those things, but I can see how in a long-term sense, the long-term qualities of our life, it feels like a lot of energy of transformation, and personal ingenuity and personal challenge are coming together right now, where we're all being challenged to really raise the paradigm a little bit, which I think is definitely evocative of that transit. The outer transits in Western astrology, per se, have to do with longer sort of generational themes in your life and in the world as well. So a lot of stuff going on, and I encourage you to get either one of my quick update readings where you can just get a current weather reading where I'll look at your chart and see how things are happening and touch on some of these things that I just mentioned. And also, you know, especially when you bring in all of the power of Vedic astrology, which has your dasha cycles, your current cycles, and all of that, it really helps to focus like a laser on what your issues are right now. Or you can also get the long general life reading, which is a full 60 minutes of me just talking about your chart. And of course, I'll bring these things into it as well. So it's a good time to get a reading, to get an update. I also make this video and am proposing this because a lot of people have been asking me. It's like, I just, you know, even when I just write an article now, so many of the responses are, how do I get a reading from you? How do I get a reading? So I am doing some readings right now, and so go ahead and get reading if you think it'll benefit you. I think it's a good time to get one, actually.